Habits shape our life every day, from morning to night. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we check our phone, we eat, we work, we sleep. Most of this happens without thinking. This is not an accident. This is habit. In this video series, we explore the book The Power of Habit, written by Charles Duhigg. This book explains why habits exist, how they control us, and how we can change them. This is part 1. Part 1 focuses on one big idea. That idea is called the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. Once you understand this loop, you understand human behavior. So let us begin the habit loop. Charles Duhigg starts the book with a powerful story. The story is about a man named Eugene Pauly. Eugene had a normal life. He had a job. He had a family. He had friends. Then something terrible happened. Eugene got a brain infection. It damaged a part of his brain. After that, Eugene could not remember new events. He forgot conversations after a few minutes. He forgot names. He forgot faces. But something strange happened. Even though Eugene could not remember, he could still form habits. Every morning, he woke up. He went to the bathroom. He shaved. He got dressed. No one told him to do this. He just did it. Doctors tested him. They put him in a new house. They changed the layout. At first, Eugene was confused, but after some time, he learned new paths. He could walk from bedroom to kitchen. He could find the bathroom. But when asked how he did it, he said, "I don't know." This shocked scientists. It proved one thing. Habits do not need memory. Habits live in a different part of the brain. This part is called the basal ganglia. Why the brain loves habits. The brain is like a machine that saves energy. Thinking uses energy. Decision-making uses energy. So the brain looks for shortcuts. Habits are shortcuts. When something becomes a habit, the brain stops working hard. It goes into automatic mode. This helps us survive. Imagine if you had to think about every small action. How do I walk? How do I eat? How do I open a door? Life would be impossible. So habits are necessary. But there is a problem. Good habits help us. Bad habits control us. To change habits, we must understand how they work. That brings us to the habit loop. The habit loop core concept. Every habit follows the same pattern. 3 steps. Cue, routine, reward. Let us break this down. 1. Cue. The cue is a trigger. It tells the brain, start this behavior. Cues can be many things: a time of day, a place, an emotion, a person, an action before. Example, you wake up in the morning, you see your phone. That is a cue. You feel bored. That is a cue. You smell coffee. That is a cue. Do a routine. The routine is the behavior. It is what you do automatically. Checking your phone, drinking coffee, eating snacks, smoking, watching TV. This is the habit itself. 3. Reward. The reward is the benefit. It tells the brain this habit is worth remembering. Rewards can be pleasure, relaxation, energy, comfort, social connection. Example, you check your phone. You feel entertained. That feeling is the reward. The brain likes rewards, so it remembers the loop. Cue, routine, reward. Over time, this loop becomes stronger. How habits are created. Charles Duhigg explains how habits are built step by step. At first, the brain is very active. When something new happens, the brain pays attention. But after repetition, the brain relaxes. It says, I know this. That is when a habit is born. Let us take an example. Example, learning to drive. When you first learn driving, you think about pedals. You think about mirrors. You think about steering. Everything feels hard. But after practice, you drive automatically. You talk while driving. You listen to music. Driving becomes a habit. The brain stores the routine in the basal ganglia. Now you drive without thinking. The golden rule, habits never disappear. One very important lesson, habits never truly disappear. They can be replaced. They can be weakened, but they never vanish. That is why people relapse. That is why old habits return. During stress, the habit loop is always there. If the cue appears and the reward is desired, the brain pushes the routine. So the key is not to delete habits. The key is to change the routine. Keep the cue. Keep the reward. Change the action. The craving brain. Habits become powerful because of cravings. Craving is the desire for the reward. Over time, the brain starts craving before the reward happens. The brain sees the cue and expects the reward. This expectation creates motivation. Example, you smell popcorn in a movie theater. Your brain remembers cue, smell, routine, buy popcorn. Reward, taste plus pleasure. Now your brain starts craving popcorn, even if you are not hungry. This craving drives the habit. Experiment with monkeys. Scientists tested this with monkeys. They gave monkeys juice. First, light turns on. Monkey presses lever. Monkey gets juice. After many repetitions, something changed. When the light turned on, the monkey's brain reacted. Not when juice came, but when the light appeared. This shows craving. The brain wanted the reward before it arrived. This is how habits control behavior. Habits in daily life. Let us look at real-life habits. Morning habit. Cue, alarm rings. Routine, check phone. Reward, stimulation, updates. Stress habit. Cue, stress. Routine, eat junk food. Reward, comfort. Social media habit. Cue, boredom. Routine, scroll. Reward, entertainment. Once you see the loop, you see habits everywhere. Why willpower alone fails? Many people say, just use willpower. But willpower is limited. When tired, when stressed, when emotional, willpower breaks. Habits do not. That is why change is hard. You must work with the habit loop, not against it. The power of awareness. The first step to change is awareness. You must identify what is the cue, what is the routine, what is the reward. Charles Duhigg suggests writing it down. Ask yourself, where am I? What time is it? Who am I with? How do I feel? What action did I take? Patterns will appear. Once you know the pattern, you gain control. Real life story, habit change. Duhigg shares a story of a woman named Lisa. Lisa had destructive habits: smoking, drinking, gambling, debt. Her life was falling apart. One day, she decided to change one habit. She started exercising. That single habit changed everything. She felt stronger. She felt confident. Other habits followed. This introduces a new idea called Keystone Habits, but that will come in part 2. In part 1, we learned one powerful truth. Habits control our lives. We learned about the habit loop, cue, routine, reward. Now in part 2, we go deeper. We answer a new question. Why do some habits change everything? Why does changing one habit sometimes change an entire life? The answer is called Keystone Habits. What are Keystone Habits? Not all habits are equal. Some habits are small, some habits are big, but some habits are special. These habits create a chain reaction. Charles Duhigg calls them Keystone Habits. A keystone habit is a habit that automatically changes other habits. When one keystone habit changes, many other behaviors change without effort. Example, exercise as a keystone habit. Research shows something interesting. People who start exercising eat healthier, smoke less, drink less alcohol, become more productive, feel more confident. Exercise causes changes, even in areas not directly related to fitness. Why? Because keystone habits change how people see themselves. I am someone who exercises. I am disciplined. I can improve. This identity shift is powerful. The story of Paul O'Neill. Charles Duhigg shares a famous story. The story of Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill became CEO of a large company called Alcoa. Alcoa makes aluminum. Everyone expected him to talk about profits. Instead, he talked about worker safety. He said, "Our goal is 0 injuries." People were confused. Wall Street investors panicked. They thought, this man does not understand business. But something amazing happened. How safety changed everything. To improve safety, Alcoa had to improve communication, improve reporting systems, improve accountability, improve teamwork, small safety problems, revealed big system problems, fixing safety, fixed efficiency. Over time, productivity increased, costs reduced, profits increased. Alcoa became one of the most successful companies, all because of one keystone habit: safety. Why keystone habits work? Keystone habits work because they do 3 things. 1, they create small wins. Small wins build confidence. When people win small battles, they believe change is possible. Confidence grows. 2, they create new structures. New habits change routines. New routines change systems. At home, at work, in society. 3, they change identity. I am a healthy person. I am a careful company. I am disciplined. Identity drives behavior. The power of small wins. Small wins matter. They are proof of progress. They create momentum. Charles Duhigg explained that people do not change because of big goals. People change because of small victories. Example, making your bed. This may sound silly, but research shows that people who make their bed are more productive, feel more control, manage stress better, Making the bed is a small habit, but it sends a message. I start my day with order. That feeling spreads. How keystone habits form. Keystone habits form the same way all habits do. Cue, routine, reward. But the reward is different. The reward is pride. The reward is control. The reward is identity. Example, cue, morning time. Routine, exercise. Reward, feeling strong, proud. That reward is emotional. Emotional rewards are powerful. Keystone habits in personal life. Let us look at real life. Keystone habit, family dinner. Families who eat dinner together. Children perform better in school. Less drug use. Better communication. The food is not magic. The habit is dinner creates conversation. Structure. Emotional safety. One habit. Many benefits. Keystone habit, budgeting. People who track expenses. Save more money. Stress less. Avoid debt. Budgeting creates awareness. Awareness creates control. Keystone habits in society. Keystone habits exist at social level too. Example, civil rights movement. One keystone habit was nonviolent protest. This habit created discipline, moral authority, public support. Small consistent actions created massive change. Why some habits fail. Not every habit becomes keystone. Why? Because it must create belief. Create visible progress. Be repeatable. If a habit feels forced, it will not last. If a habit gives no reward, it will fail. Belief is essential. Duhigg explains one deep truth. Change requires belief. People must believe they can change. This belief often comes from community, support groups, friends, family. Belief grows stronger when shared. Example, Alcoholics Anonymous. AA works not only because of routines, it works because of belief. People believe change is possible. They see others succeed. That belief becomes habit. Identity shift. The most powerful change is identity change. Not, I want to lose weight, but I am a healthy person. Not, I want to save money, but I am a responsible person. Keystone habits support this identity shift. In part 1, we learned how habits work. Cue, routine, reward. In part 2, we learned about keystone habits. One habit can change everything. Now in part 3, we move to a new level. Not personal habits, not family habits, but business habits. We ask a new question. How do companies shape our habits? How do brands enter our daily life? And sometimes control our behavior. Habits inside companies. Companies are like people. They have routines. They have behaviors. They have habits. These habits decide how employees act, how decisions are made, how success or failure happens. Company habits are often invisible, but they are very powerful. Organizational habits. Charles Duhigg calls them organizational habits. They are routines repeated every day inside a company. Examples, how meetings are run, how problems are reported, how mistakes are handled, how promotions happen. No one questions these habits. People say, this is how we do things here. The story of Rhode Island Hospital. Duhigg shares a serious story. A hospital in Rhode Island. A patient goes in for brain surgery. Something goes terribly wrong. The wrong side of the brain is operated on. This is a huge mistake. Investigators ask, how could this happen? The answer was not one person. The answer was bad habits. System habits failed. The hospital had habits like poor communication, no clear authority, no one questioned decisions. Doctors assumed, someone else checked. Nurses stayed silent. Everyone followed routine. The habit was, do not challenge hierarchy. This habit caused disaster. Lesson from the hospital. Bad habits in organizations can destroy lives. Good habits can save lives. Changing company habits is not optional. It is essential. Why companies keep bad habits? You may ask, why don't companies fix them? Because habits feel normal. They reduce conflict. They avoid hard conversations. Changing habits creates discomfort. Leaders often avoid discomfort until crisis forces change. Habits and responsibility. Here is an important idea. Habits can explain behavior, but they do not excuse behavior. Companies often say, that's how our system works. But responsibility still exists. Understanding habits means understanding where to intervene. Marketing and habit creation. Now we move to consumers. Companies do not just respond to habits. They create habits. Marketing is not just about selling. It is about habit formation. The story of Pepsodent toothpaste. In the early 1900s, most people did not brush teeth. Toothpaste sales were low. Then a marketer named Claude Hopkins changed everything. He created a habit. The cue. He told people, run your tongue over your teeth. You feel a film. That film was normal, but he made it feel like a problem. The film became the cue. The routine. Brush with Pepsodent toothpaste. The reward. Fresh taste. Foamy feeling. Clean sensation. The foam did not clean better, but it felt rewarding. People loved it. Result. Brushing became a daily habit. Toothpaste sales exploded. This habit still exists today. The power of feeling, not facts. Important lesson. People do not form habits because of facts. They form habits because of feelings. Clean feeling, fresh taste, comfort, confidence. Companies design rewards carefully. Febreze, a failed product. Duhigg shares another story. The product is Febreze, a spray to remove bad smells. At first, Febreze failed. No one bought it. Why? Problem, no cue. People with bad smelling homes often could not smell it. They were used to the smell. No cue, no habit. Second problem, no reward feeling. Febreze removed odor, but there was no feeling, no smell, no sensation. People forgot to use it. How Febreze succeeded. The company changed strategy. They studied cleaning habits. They found something important. People love the feeling of finishing cleaning. New habit loop, cue, finished cleaning. Routine, spray Febreze. Reward, fresh smell, plus pride. Now Febreze became a reward, not a solution. Sales exploded. Febreze became a success. Lesson from Febreze. For habits to stick, there must be a clear cue. There must be an emotional reward. Logic is not enough. Emotion creates habit. Target and consumer data. Now comes a powerful example. The company Target. Target collects customer data. They track buying habits. They know what you buy, when you buy, how often you buy. From this, they predict behavior. The pregnancy story. Target created a model. They could predict when a woman was pregnant based on buying patterns. Unscented lotion, vitamins, cotton balls. Target sent baby coupons. One father got angry. He complained. Later, he realized Target was right. His daughter was pregnant. Why Target was careful. Target learned a lesson. People do not like feeling watched, so they mixed ads. Baby products with normal products. This made it feel natural, not creepy. Habits need to feel normal. People accept habit influence only when it feels natural. Too obvious to resistance. Invisible influence yarns success. Free will vs habits. A big question appears. Do we really have free will? Are companies controlling us? Charles Duhigg gives a balanced answer. Habits influence us. Yes, companies influence habits. Yes, marketing is powerful. But we are not helpless. Awareness gives power. Choice still exists. The moment we understand, cue, routine, reward, we can interrupt the loop. Knowledge creates choice. Ethical questions. Should companies use habits to sell more? Is it manipulation? Duhigg does not give easy answers. He says, habits are tools. Tools can help or harm. Responsibility matters. How to protect yourself. You can protect yourself by recognizing triggers, questioning routines, understanding rewards. Ask, why do I want this? What feeling am I seeking? Awareness weakens manipulation. In part 1, we talked about individual habits. In part 2, we learned about keystone habits. In part 3, we explored company and consumer habits. Now in part 4, we go even bigger. We talk about society. We ask a powerful question. How do habits change millions of people? How do movements start? How do ordinary people create extraordinary change? The answer is social habits. What are social habits? Social habits are behaviors shared by groups. They are not written laws. They are unwritten rules. They guide how people treat each other, accept or reject ideas, follow or resist change. Social habits feel normal. Most people never question them until something breaks the pattern. The civil rights movement. Charles Duhigg explains one of the strongest examples, the civil rights movement. In the United States, this movement did not start with one big speech. It started with one small action. The story of Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a normal woman. She worked. She had friends. She was respected. One day, she refused to give up her seat on a bus. This action seems simple, but it created history. Why? Because of social habits. Why Rosa Parks mattered. Many people had resisted before, but Rosa Parks was different. She had strong social ties. Church members, neighbors, community leaders. People trusted her. When she acted, others felt safe to act too. Social trust turned a personal action into a collective movement. The power of weak ties. Duhigg introduces an important concept. Strong ties and weak ties. Strong ties family, close friends, trusted community, weak ties, coworkers, acquaintances, neighbors. Movements grow when strong ties start action and weak ties spread it. How boycotts spread. After Rosa Parks' arrest, her friends spoke out. Churches organized meetings. Neighbors joined. Soon, people who barely knew each other were participating. The bus boycott lasted 381 days. This required discipline. Discipline came from shared social habits, social pressure, and change. People want to belong. Belonging shapes behavior. When a group changes, individuals follow. This is social pressure, but it is not always negative. It can create positive change. Nonviolence as a social habit. The civil rights movement used nonviolence. Nonviolence was not automatic. It was trained. People practiced staying calm, not reacting, supporting each other. Nonviolence became a habit, a shared habit. This habit gave the movement power. Why movements succeed? Movements succeed when three things happen. 1. Strong ties create action. People act because they trust others. 2. Weak ties spread the action. The idea moves beyond the inner circle. 3. Social habits sustain behavior. New norms replace old ones. When these combine, change becomes unstoppable. Social habits in modern life. Social habits exist everywhere. Examples: workplace culture, school behavior, online communities, social media trends. When enough people repeat an action, it becomes normal. Normal becomes habit. Example: seatbelt use. Seatbelts were once unpopular. People resisted. Then laws changed. Ads changed. Social pressure changed. Not wearing a seatbelt became unacceptable. A new social habit formed. The role of leaders. Leaders do not create movements alone. They shape habits. Good leaders create belief, encourage consistency, protect new norms. They help people practice new behavior until it feels natural. Why social habits are hard to break. Social habits are powerful because they are shared. They are reinforced. They feel safe. Breaking them feels risky. People fear rejection. That is why change is slow. Moments of crisis. Change often happens during crisis. Crisis breaks routines. It forces people to question habits. During crisis, new ideas are accepted. Old habits lose power. This is when movements grow fastest. Responsibility and choice. Duhigg makes an important point. Social habits influence us, but they do not remove responsibility. Each person still chooses how to act. Understanding social habits helps us choose better. You are part of the system. You are not separate from society. Your actions matter. Your habits influence others. Even small actions can create ripple effects. Social change often begins with one person, then another, then many. How to create positive social habits. To create positive social habits, start with small actions. Build trust. Be consistent. Encourage others. Celebrate progress. Change grows through repetition. In part 1, we learned how habits work. Cue, routine, reward. In part 2, we learned about keystone habits. In part 3, we learned how companies and marketing use habits. In part 4, we saw how habits change society. Now in part 5, we reach the most important question. How do you change a habit? Not theory, not motivation quotes. A real system. A system that works. The golden rule of habit change. Charles Duhigg gives one clear rule. You cannot erase a habit. You can only replace it. The habit loop never disappears. Cue and reward remain. Only the routine changes. This rule is called the golden rule of habit change. Why this rule matters. People fail because they try to stop habits. Stop smoking. Stop eating junk. Stop procrastinating. Stopping creates a gap. The brain hates gaps. It wants the reward, so the old habit returns. Replacement is the solution. Step 1, identify the routine. The routine is the behavior. Ask yourself, what do I actually do? Be specific, not vague. Examples: eating chips, scrolling social media, smoking a cigarette, watching YouTube for hours. You must name the routine clearly. Step 2, experiment with rewards. Most habits exist because of a reward, but the reward is not always obvious. You must experiment. Example: afternoon snacking. You eat snacks every afternoon. Is the reward hunger, energy, boredom, relief? Social interaction? Try different rewards. Take a walk. Drink water. Talk to someone. Eat fruit. Observe how you feel. After 15 minutes, ask, do I still want the snack? This reveals the real reward. Step 3, isolate the cue. Every habit starts with a cue. Most cues fall into 5 categories. 1, location. Where are you? 2, time. What time is it? 3, emotional state. How do you feel? 4. Other people. Who is around you? 5. Preceding action. What happened just before? Write it down. Each time the habit happens, write answers to all 5. Patterns appear. That pattern is the cue. Step 4. Plan a new routine. Now comes the change. Keep the cue. Keep the reward. Change the routine. Example: stress smoking. Cue: stress. Reward: calm feeling. Old routine: smoking. New routines could be deep breathing, short walk, stretching, music. The reward must feel similar. Calm, relief, pause. Step 5. Belief makes it stick. Duhigg emphasizes one thing: belief is essential. Without belief, habits do not last. Belief grows through small success. Support, community. This is why support groups work. When belief fails, during stress, during crisis, during emotional pain, old habits return. This is normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. The role of community. People change better together. Community provides accountability, encouragement, shared belief. You do not need many people. Even one supportive person helps. Habits and free will. Duhigg answers a big question. Are we controlled by habits? His answer: habits influence us, but we still choose. Once you understand your habits, you gain control. Responsibility returns to you when habits turn dangerous. Duhigg discusses tragic cases. People commit harmful acts and say, "I didn't realize." Habits explain behavior, but they do not remove responsibility. Awareness creates duty. Small changes, big results. Big transformations come from small changes. One habit at a time, one loop at a time. You do not change your whole life. You change one routine, then another. Your personal habit plan. Let us build a simple plan. Step 1, name the habit. Step 2, identify the routine. Step 3, find the reward. Step 4, identify the cue. Step 5, choose a new routine. Step 6, repeat. Failure is part of the process. You will fail sometimes. That does not mean the system failed. It means learning happened. Each failure gives data. Use it. Adjust. Continue. Habits shape identity. Your habits become your identity. You are what you repeatedly do. Change habits, change identity. Not overnight, but permanently. Final summary, the entire book. Let us summarize the power of habit. Habits control daily life. Habits follow a loop. Cue, routine, reward. Habits never disappear. They can be replaced. Keystone habits create big change. Companies and society run on habits. Awareness gives control. Belief makes change last. Final message, closing for YouTube. Habits are not destiny. They are patterns. Patterns can be changed, not with force, not with guilt, but with understanding. This book gives you that understanding. This was part 5. The final part. If this series helped you, remember one thing: change one habit, change your life. Thank you.